Just as Henry VIII is alleged to have said to his second wife, "I don't intend keeping you too long." And if 80% of success is turning up, according to Woody Allen, well, here I am. Contest chair, Toastmasters and guests. I have a confession to make. I've never been guilty of an original thought in my life. But what I'm going to talk about this morning is something that I do know a little bit about. And that subject is myself. 1950. I'm a tousled-haired, blue-eyed toddler, and my mother puts me into a tea chest out of necessity because my father is dying. Now, a tea chest is a wooden box, and in old money that is about 2 foot square by 3 foot deep. And I'm put in there for safekeeping. It's tied with a rope between 2 door handles against the wall. And I spent all my time banging and banging and banging until I fall down asleep. That was child protection and children's welfare back in the 50s. 1960. I got out of the tea chest and started to walk then on the farm. And I was milking cows by hand, and you had to be very careful that the cow didn't give you a swish of her tail on the side of the face, which in the summertime was invariably plastered with you know what. And many's the time I took young heifers on a long rope to the bull. And I tied corn with my hands and grassy, and there always seemed to be thistles in them. And you got jagged with thistles and your arms got cut. And then, between times, I went to school. And I was blessed with 2 great teachers. One was a paedophile, and the second one was an alcoholic. The alcoholic used to send us out to gather firewood for the pot-bellied stove. I suppose you could say it was environmental studies, an early example. The alcoholic used to often send me down to the pub to buy naggins of Powers whiskey for himself. So I suppose that was an example, or an early example, of retail studies in the school curriculum. Then I went to secondary school, and again I was blessed with great teachers. The first was a priest, and he also was an alcoholic. And he used to engage with the pupils by knocking them on the head with his knuckles. I suppose you could say he was a hands-on type of teacher. And also, he wore a big, long, black cassock. And from underneath it, he'd take out a big, 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 long cane. And that was how he administered his corporal punishment, benignly and benevolently. Although I thought he was a vicious and viperous so-and-so. Then we had a male teacher, a layman, and he used to beat us with the leg of a chair. And then we had another teacher, and he used to slap us on the hands with a cross-section of a car tyre made by the Goodyear Tyre Company. I never had a good year at school. But what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. 1970. My mother encouraged me very much to go to become a psychiatric nurse in a mental hospital. Now, the stigma of mental illness was very strong, and there was also a very strong perception that the people working in the service became like the patients themselves. Now, I could not tell anybody where I walked. Least of all, good-looking girls that I might fancy. But I did get married to a nurse at the hospital. Now it is said that a man is only half a man till he gets married. And then when he gets married, he's finished. Out of the 19 years that I was married, I had 2 very, very, very happy years. My wife was a professional housewife. And then she went back to work at the hospital and promptly fell in love with a colleague. And ran off with what you could say, a heating technologist, better known as the hospital boilerman. When the going gets tough and you're going through hell, Churchill says, keep going. I've just made a quantum leap to 2019. Even though my future is behind me, perhaps the best years of my life are still ahead. Indeed. Contest chair.